All right, we live. See, I don't know if you want to try to share it a little bit in the groups on Facebook real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'll share it afterwards. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Shoot. All right, we got a decent amount of people here. I know it's some on Twitter too, so let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everybody? Another win, victorious. Boy, these you can get used to these victory Saturdays right here, man. But I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna make you do. They're gonna make you go to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits if you're in the state of Florida, and they're gonna make you drink the hard liquor. They're not gonna just let you get away with a couple beers or just like even some water. They're gonna drive you to drink, man. But as we say each week, a win is a win. They're hard to come by, and if they were easy, everybody would be undefeated. So, kudos to that. You still got your goal in a rivalry game next week, making a bowl to make a bowl, something that these fellas have earned the right to do, earned the right to have. As Shade Tree talked to us a couple of episodes ago, none of these guys have ever had a winning season as a senior. So like this will be the first Florida State class in a while to graduate with a winning season, or those are still on the horizon. So gotta take care of keep the main thing each week lined up. So what was it, 26-23 Florida State over the Boston College Eagles in Boston. Tough place to play. I've played there. Freddie's played there. Different breed of athlete. I don't know what they were like when you played, but them boys were thick, man. Like it wasn't like their 250 was different than other people's 250. So like you got to hit them and you got to really drive and so you can see how the game was fluctuating, especially on the line. They just kind of wore us down toward the end, and luckily, like a good boxing match, we put up enough points in the early rounds, and we got enough shots toward the end to where it kind of put us over the top, man. So, what were your initial thoughts on the game?
Yeah, man, I thought we started off hot, man. The defense was giving them issues from the jump. The defensive line, Jermaine Johnson, Kier Thomas, love it. All those guys were stepping up, and they continued to make noise as the game went on. But as they started to get momentum, you started to see them get gashed a little bit. Especially like you said, those are some big guys, man. It's hard to hold up all game. Offense, I think they got in a little rhythm early on, but just like last week, I think, man, with all the opportunities we had, we didn't end up with enough points. And that was just one of my biggest worries last week and this week. I didn't really think that Boston College had enough to come back into the game, but in that second half, they proved me wrong. They had a little help from the ACC refs with a lot of terrible calls, but when you let a team stick around, you're putting yourself in a position where those type of things can happen, so you can't even be mad at that.
Right. No matter what you believe, you can't give up 110 yards and penalties. Like at one point, Boston College, it looked like they were doing three phases. Like they had more penalty yards than they had rushing yards and passing yards. So it's something that you're making the game harder for yourself. And certain key situations, we go back to it. Hopefully we get some guests on this week. We'll have to draw it up for them, man. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of us being on 4th and inches or 3rd and 1 and not being able to get it. It doesn't matter. The joke is give the ball to the damn fullback for me. But the reality is this. Short yardage is a mindset. Like you gotta really go. Running game is a mindset. You gotta go in with the understanding that I'm about to go really try to manhandle somebody, and too often we don't do it, or we're in sets where it's hard to be aggressive. Like a shotgun set, yes, you can run out of it, but like it's hard to be aggressive in a short yardage situation or in a shotgun set, unless you're trying to bait the defense to go inside and break contain, like what Boston College quarterback did to us a couple times during the game. But you're right; it just seems very hard for us to get. I mean, it's so hard for us to get 24 points. It shouldn't be that hard. Like we had plenty of opportunities. We were driving. What the defense did in the first half, we should have easily had. Not quite. Maybe a Ohio State versus Michigan State outcome is maybe a little bit of a stretch where my man had 6 passing touchdowns in the first half, but it should have been easy 30 points, at least 4 scores. Now we walked into halftime with 3 scores, but that just it didn't feel like it. And you didn't. We talked about it. We got to be able. This team has to learn how to snap the neck of their opponent, and they haven't figured that part out yet. But it's growth. 5-6. Nobody would have thought that after the Jacksonville State game. Nobody would have thought that after getting whooped by Wake Forest. These guys have been able to pull themselves out of adversity, and we've seen some key guys rise to the occasion. Man, did you see little bruh, Kalen DeLoach? Kalen DeLoach took a lineman and made the lineman make the tackle, man. Oh, I know OG Rob was smiling like he had a plate of oxtails in front of him.
The way he played that screen, fought through the block on the screen. No, ID'd it early on in the play. A lot of guys get lost on those screens. He ID'd it early and then came down with a safety. Man, he balled out today.
He also got put in a real bad situation with 4, where he got matched up, and my man ran the basically it wasn't a slam, but ran basically a wide drag across the middle. But I mean, he got cooked, but he ran him down. So like it could have been a bigger play. Kalen DeLoach, just seeing Kalen DeLoach do those things, losing Jamie Robinson early, I think also hurt the cohesiveness of the secondary. And what can we say about the maturation of Jordan Travis? Jordan Travis is continuing to do stuff that anybody with football not like. This is why you can't. It's not to knock anybody or how they make their money. This is why you can't listen to everybody talk about sports, and this is why you can't just strictly go off of statistics. Like, we had the young man. If you haven't got a chance to go listen to Jordan Travis's interview earlier this week with me and Freddie. But like, this young man, like, has shown you that he's a gamer, that he's everything that you said other quarterbacks are that have come in. And it's time for us as a fan base to appreciate the 8 wins that he's given us in the Norvell era. I mean, let's be real. Like, Mike Norvell hasn't won a game. As a matter of fact, every game that he hasn't really played, he's got blown out. I mean, the team has been blown out. He's a quarterback. He's a leader. He's an energizer. And on the other side, I mean, we talked about Kalen DeLoach. We talked about Kier Thomas. Shout out to the Jit too. Omari was Cooper.
Yeah.
He played. He gave up a play, but also did some good stuff today. Akeem Dent catching the interception. I see you, Akeem. Everybody picked on you, say you can't catch, but that was a clutch interception. And of course, everybody's favorite Noel right now, that we haven't seen this kind of domination from a defensive end in a while, and that's Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson was straight up cooking in that first half. That tackle that he was on, that kid had to he had to be screaming, "Help me, man!"
No doubt, man. Definitely doing his thing. Hopefully we get him on the show here soon, man. We've been reaching out to him. Hopefully we hear from him soon. That'll definitely be dope to get him on. Hell of a story. And he's made a big splash for our nose. It seems like whenever we need to play, him and 4 on the defensive side, those are the guys that step up big time for us. So he's definitely been a big piece of us building this. Can't really say comeback because we're still a bad team that's building, but something to build on. Next week we have opportunity to earn a bowl game against our rival. So you already got the rivalry game, but you beat them and you're in the bowl. So it's even that much sweeter. And he's a big part of what we're able to do with that.
Right. And those are things that, can leave you a legacy that you can come back to. You kind of got the swing of things going. And, for recruits that are watching, like, you can see it. Like, I've gone on record numerous times, whereas even when we were going through the the losing spell. And, we have to try not to be like Miami fans, where we're all in, when we think we're above this, and then everybody's all great, then we're firing somebody because we lost the game. You've heard me say this week in and week out on this show. Coach Fuller has these guys in positions to make plays. This game, when they were there, like kudos to their quarterback from Boston College. That's a big dude. Like, he should have. Any other quarterback gets sacked 12 times this game. This guy got himself out of a lot of sacks, and honestly, it should have been a bunch of interceptions because he was just chunking that ball up. He was doing everything but take a sack. But Coach Fuller put them in good position, and Coach Dillingham, for the most part, had the offense clicking. What I'm trying to find is, when is that guy going to step up and win the one-on-one matchup? Like, not just man coverage. We threw a ball out, and it was a wide receiver one-on-one with a DB in space. I grew up watching the Peter Warricks of the world. I know what Pete would have done in that situation. That man would have had ACL reconstructive surgery. I know what, even when I was there, when played with Confonso Thorpe, I know what Thorpe would have done. My man Chris Davis. You played with some dogs too at wide receiver. Like, that's supposed to at least be 10, bro. Like, if not a touchdown. But that's the one thing that when we get those guys coming in, like, so that means it's not a lot of play. It's like two or three guys away that can make you into, like, oh snap, we can really be a ball club.
No doubt. And I'll kind of get into that once we talk about our good, bad, and ugly. But I do think our receivers, for the most part, they could have helped us out a little bit throughout the game and kind of push that lead a little bit further so that we didn't have to fight for it at the end. I think they had some situations where they could have helped us out and put some points on the scoreboard.
Right. So, not to leave the people waiting, obviously, Florida State beat Boston College Eagles in Boston, 26-23, moving the record up to 5-6, one game away from bowl eligibility, leading into rivalry week, a much more hated rivalry week. But we'll touch base on that next week. Who knows how many shows we'll have next week? We know we'll have an instant reaction, and we know we'll have one, but we may have one every day of the week for y'all next week. You just gotta stay tuned. It's gonna be fun. It's fun when you win and people want to talk, but it's fun. So, good, bad, and the ugly. Let's start with the ugly. What were some of the ugly things that you saw?
I would say my ugly is, we talked about it in the beginning. In these games, you can't allow the referees to get involved. So when you have a team down, you got to put your foot on the net. And we get into the penalties. Some are questionable, whatever you want to say, but you can't allow the refs to get in the game. So my ugly is getting conservative, getting kind of complacent when you have that lead and allowing this game to be closer than it should have been. That I don't think this is a game that should have been close, but we allowed for it to happen.
Right. My ugly would be all the penalties. Regardless, blame the referees, don't blame the referees. It's lack of discipline. And granted, there's some situations where you would like the referees to, like, help you, but, like, if you lined up, if they say you don't have enough men on line of scrimmage, like, it was on you as a tackle, you need to scoot up an inch or two to make sure you're on there. Ask. Make sure you're doing that, but 2 back-to-back, 4th and inches. Like, I think it was Gibbons. You were brought here to be a leader. We can't have you false start in that situation. Like, you're supposed to be a dude. You're strong enough to be able to sit there, wait till the ball snap. Boston College is a tough place to play, but it ain't the loudest. Like, you're about to play in one of the loudest stadiums that you've ever played in next week. So, like, you should be prepared for this. So that would, on an offensive standpoint, defense, like, we can't keep, like, these ticky-tack things. Quarterback slide. All right, man, I get it. It was kind of bang, bang. Maybe it was ticky-tack. We're already giving up some stuff on the special teams, but we kind of get pushed. But, like, you can't be in a situation where you can get pushed into a guy who's fair catching it. I get it, but when bad luck only happens to you, like, at a certain point, you got to look at it and be like, yo, maybe it's me. And I think that's where, guys got to get into it. But like some of it was sticky tech, but at the end of the day, it literally almost cost us the game. And if we didn't give them anything to call, they wouldn't have called it.
Facts.
So what's your bad? Just overall bad.
My bad is going back to the receivers. I think just those contested catches. We had some that were layups. I seen a back shoulder throw to, I think, 7 early in the game. I wouldn't really call it a difficult catch. I mean, it's a good catch if he makes it, but it's put there in a spot where the defender can't get the ball. And we've seen a lot of those throughout the game where the guys have an opportunity or just drop it, fall down on a route, or they get the ball in their hands and they just can't make a contested catch. Man, your quarterback needs your help, man. In these type of games, the running game is getting going, and they come back in the second half, and their first thing is let's shut down this running game. So we need the receivers to step up. So when guys are dropping passes and can't get open, that's an issue.
Right. Andrew Parchment, still inconsistent. This game made some good catches, made some drops with catches that we kind of needed him to make. So that's just one person. Obviously, it was a lot more of them. But, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Malik McClain made a great catch in the end zone. That's what you need. Go back and look at the great. I think Jameis was just really good at throwing people into a good situation, and Charlie was too. But go back and look at Chris Winkie. Go back and look at some of the other Florida State quarterbacks. I'm telling you, they did not throw the best balls, man. They just had dogs at wide receiver who went and got it, and that's kind of what you have to be. Like you have to make your quarterback better. Number 4 from Boston College, that's a dog. Like he made his quarterback better, and obviously you recruit 5 stars and 4 stars for that reason. They're supposed to be that, but dog is a dog. He was a 3-star from out of Fort Lauderdale. You got to be able to go and get it, man. That's what I agree with you on that. Overall offensive performance would be my bad though. In the second half, not like it. Just you've got to be able to make. We've got to be able to score more points, and it's not just a Norvell thing. It was in Tag's era. The lack of points in the second half is concerning. It's showing that other teams are making adjustments to us, and we're not making the suitable adjustments. And that could be because we ain't got cats to make the adjustments. But we did it in the first half. You got to be able to play. You got to be able to play 4 quarters. Luckily, we did enough to win. And now we get to talk about the good. Leave the people leave them feeling better after all that bad stuff can be cleaned up. We did all of that bad and ugly, and we still won. What's your good?
My good, man, a few things. My quarterback, just the growth that he made during this game, came out in the first half, being efficient, was in the rhythm, looks comfortable back there. And then my second thing, man, we were able to impose our will all first half with the running game. I think we ran power probably 15 times in the first half, and they couldn't stop it. And as a fullback and just a football fan, that's what I love, like the violence of the game, man, just going down there and showing the man, listen, I'm going to run through your chest. You love it. But, man, that defensive line, that's what I have to go with. Jermaine Johnson winning his matchups, Kier Thomas. Then you got to love it, man. It was so much beauty on that side of the ball, man. That's what capped the game off. And in every big situation, it seemed like those guys stepped up.
Man, I don't like being on the other side of it, but, like, good D-line play is a thing of beauty, man. Like, and these guys feeding off of each other. It reminded me of DeMarcus Walker, Brian Burns, freshman year, where D-Walk was wreaking havoc on offensive linemen, and guys are trying to get away from him. But now you got a young freshman over there, and Burns that's over there, just like, great. I'm gonna take these leftovers. And that's kind of what's happening with Kier Thomas and Jermaine Johnson. And then Fabian is coming in doing what he needs to do. And it's just a great triangle. If we could get, Malcolm Ray, he's been kind of coming on the last couple of weeks. Trying to think. I don't really remember hearing Cooper's name, but like, this is what you need. You need to be able to get push up the middle and around the edge. And that's what we were doing. Now in the second half, we weren't able to get that push up the middle, and that's why you were able to see the quarterback be able to, just run, like scramble, like drop back, climb the pocket, run up the middle. But like to see what Jermaine Johnson was doing to that defensive end was child abuse. Like it was crazy just to watch. I don't know how many sacks he got, if he had any, but I guarantee you he had 10 pressures easily, like where he's altering the makeup of what the quarterback has to do. And then again, I can't speak highly enough of Jordan Travis. This team goes and falls based upon how he plays the game. He was 20. I believe he was 20 for 30. Excuse me. What was he? Was he 20 for? No, he was 32 for. Was it 32 for 40? No, couldn't have been that. Bottom line is he was over 50% efficiency. But what I remember looking at. But the key is a lot of drops and a lot of things where there was some miscommunication. They clean that up, man. It's gonna be devastating. And you got a big week coming where these guys are going to try the SEC defense. They're going to try to force you to beat them with your arm, and they're susceptible to do that. But they also have some meat eaters. But who knows I don't know what's going on with them in Missouri. They play at 4, so they liable to lose in Missouri and fold, or they're liable to win. And then now this is a battle for who's going to go to the bowl game. So we got to fight. Got to really fight. Get this stuff cleaned up, and pin your ears back, have a good time, and play. And hopefully we get that win and we get into the Gator Bowl. Like, so again, we can throw we can have some fun here as fans in this great city right here. Or it doesn't matter. It don't matter. I just want to go to a bowl game. Like I'm playing in it, but I want that for those guys.
No doubt. It's no bigger than next week, man. Listen, a team, you said it earlier in the show. A lot of these guys have never won. This will be the first winning season they had. A lot of these guys on the roster, man. What way to go out than to change the culture, change the narrative, and you get to do it with beating your rival. That's what I'm excited about. I hate the Gators. We knocked one out in Miami. Let's go get us a state championship. That's what it's about.
Which would be great. And then now the selling point to everybody is look what we did when we're down. Imagine what we're going to do to everybody when we up. And we're not far from being up. So you said you gonna slide through Jacks? Come to my new spot?
Yeah. We coming to Jacks for the watch party next week, man. So I'm gonna be there.
All right, man. Listen, guys, if you want to come hang out with me and Freddie and possibly some other former Noles, or just some good people here in Jacksonville, we're having a watch party. It's at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Don't worry, we have a section specifically roped off for people who don't like to smoke. There's 6 smoke eaters. If you smell like smoke leaving that area over there, man, I don't know what to tell you. But we're gonna have TVs there. We'll have drink specials. It'll be like, I think we're gonna try. It's gonna be a cover, but that cover is gonna get you a drink or a food item. I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of. So come on out, hang out with us. Watch the game, celebrate. I don't care. Hopefully, all Florida State. If you know Gators, they can come through. What I'm probably going to do is we're going to have a Seminole shot and we're going to have a Gator shot. And whoever's victorious, everybody in the house has to take it, unless you don't drink. But I won't force you. We'll make you a virgin. Like we'll figure out Sprite and some grenadine when Florida State wins to give you that. But we're gonna have a good time, fellowship, watch the game, and then me and Freddie will do the instant reaction show live from the lounge. So if you guys want to get more details, hit us on the inbox, hit us on Twitter, hit us on all those things. We'd love to see you guys out there and hang out. If you're going to Gainesville, please be safe. Hogtown is a weird place. Those fans are really weird and aggressive for no reason. But on that note, man, you got anything else for this game?
Nah, man, I'm finna go see what the opponent got going for next week, man. I got to scout them out a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm about to go check them out too, man. I actually hope they lose. Hope they get beat up mercifully, but I don't know. But anyways, man, till then, we're going to see you guys next week. Please like the page at Inside Drills. Check out both me and Freddie. And y'all have, if you don't check out the stuff until late and you binge watch us, have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe, guys. We look forward to seeing you guys later on.